Hi. So I am sick, and I am pre-recording because Thanksgiving is happening soon. I don't know when, but it's like in the next week. And I kind of have to go on a road trip to Long Island near New York. So at least in my group of people that I consider to be family, we don't really do a big outing. And I'm spending Thanksgiving this year with my family, with Alice James's daughter. And I have to go to New York to do that. So, since I'm going to be on an 8 to 11 hour car ride on Sunday, I figured I should pre-record. And again, pardon me because I'm sick and rushed because I didn't pack. So, lots of things happened this week. But Catching Fire! I know about that. So, Catching Fire came out, the movie. I read The Hunger Games during its second printing, and I'm very elitist about that, but the long and short of it is that I read The Hunger Games frequently, a lot, before they got really big. I read The Hunger Games repeatedly in middle school. It was kind of my go-to can't sleep book, but then I waited years and years and years and years, and then Layla bought me Mockingjay, and I read Mockingjay, and then I had to go out and buy Catching Fire, because I had no idea what was happening in Mockingjay. So I read Catching Fire after I read Mockingjay, which kind of confuses some things because I spent a huge portion of Catching Fire being very confused in the timeline scheme. I have been known to read books out of order frequently. Catching Fire was my least favorite book out of the three, and that's difficult to say because I wasn't a huge fan of Mockingjay either. The Hunger Games was very special to me because it focuses on relationships. The entire book is about relationships. It's about the relationship between Katniss and Prim, it's about the relationship between Katniss and Gale, and Katniss and her mom, and Katniss and Peeta. I mean, it's the relationship of contained televised event to the whole, and to different districts, about different districts' relationships to the capital. That, for me, is what the first book is about, and that is why I enjoyed The Hunger Games so much. Its huge widespread popularity does not spring from necessarily the quality of writing, but it springs from how relatable it is because it does capture so many bonds. And Mockingjay is about a revolution. Mockingjay, for me again, was about fighting back. I mean, I think that one is pretty self-explanatory. I feel like very few people would argue the point that Mockingjay is not about a revolution. And I feel like the heart of the revolution does start in Mockingjay. In Catching Fire, we do see a little bit of bumping in the road, but it's not about revolution. The people only truly start to fight back and be aware in the third book. And again, that dissent, although it is more vocal in the second book, is deeply seated in the events of the first book. Skipping Catching Fire and going straight to Mockingjay is not necessarily a good idea, and it's very confusing, and it makes very little sense. It is an important transition, but ultimately, for me, I've never thought that Catching Fire was necessarily a standalone book, or that it had its own qualities. Katie, Elizabeth, and I were kind of discussing this as we walked out of the Catching Fire movie, and I thought that I would just share my thoughts on that, because I can't really do a conductive Catching Fire review. I thought it was good. I thought it was great. I'm not sure how faithful it was. I've only read Catching Fire once. I think it worked out great, but those are my thoughts on the Catching Fire. And if you haven't seen the Catching Fire movie already, I hope you go and see it and enjoy it, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye! Have a happy Thanksgiving as well.